What's going on, YouTube? Today we're talking about Ruud van Nistelrooy. It is official, confirmed by the club. Here's a Manchester United's website club statement, right, saying that Ruud has left the club with the joining of with Amorim joining. He's bringing in his own staff. So Ruud has officially left the club. It's sad to see because obviously Ruud was doing phenomenal as a coach, and all the old players were talking so highly of him. Rio, Ronaldo, Scholes, like all of them when talking to the press or to like the talking on a show, they were all saying that he could change the club back to what it was, right? That's because he was a player when Manchester United was at its peak. And so with that being said, Ruud leaving, right? It's kind of sad to see because he had such a he brought us back into good form. With obviously we're taking a look at the team's form here. His first game Leicester 5-2, then tied Chelsea, then one in the Europa League, and then 3-0 against Leicester again. And so like 3 goals scored on, which is crazy, because we were getting dominated by teams when Ten Hag was there. And so for Ruud to come in, right, in a bad come in when Manchester United is in poor form, bring us back into good form, right? And now we're getting a new manager, and Ruud's leaving. It's super sad to see. But I've been hearing news that he's going to be getting a manager position, or like clubs are looking for him to take over their team. And I mean, looking at the table here, right? Ipswich has been doing all right. They just beat Tottenham this weekend. Everton could be looking for a new manager, right? That would be interesting to see Ruud take over. I think, I mean, obviously he's capable of implying his tactics into the highest league, right? I mean, Manchester United, the players are there, right? The players are there for them to be one of the top teams. For them to be one of the top teams in Europe is kind of, that's a tough task. But being one of the top teams in the Premier League, maybe not. I mean, I don't think our players are capable of getting first place every single, like, year in year out, like a City, like a Liverpool, like a Arsenal, where they're competing for the title every single year. I don't think the players are there yet, but we're getting there, right? We have a lot of young talent with Ugarte, who just came in, Ahmad, Garnacho, Hoyland, right? All of them are young players that have, the sky's the limit with them. And it's just the right manager that can come in and give them their, or help them hone their skills to bring them to take them to that next level where they can be like looked at like a Salah, looked at like a Holland, looked at like a, like someone like that, like a Saka. It just takes the right manager to put that, to engrave that into their head, get them mindset right, and put them into that next caliber of that elite caliber, that world class caliber. The players are there, right? The potential's there. It just takes some time, obviously, and that's, you saw that with Arsenal, right? They went through a stint where they were like 2-3 years where they were just poor, but they had young talent, and eventually it just clicked. And since then, you haven't been, you can't look over them. You have to be mentally there, day in and day out whenever you play them, to to be able to beat them. And so, yeah, it's interesting to see that the club didn't want to keep Rude into like a, I don't know like where he would have been with a new manager that wanted to bring in his own staff. I don't know where he would have fit in. Maybe into like an attacking coach role, right? Just like focusing on our attacking talent, right? With obviously with Garnacho, Rashford, who's a little not older, but he's older than Garnacho and Ahmad, right? Like, it would have been good for Ruud to kind of like help them hone their skills. Um, I would like to see who Amorim is bringing in. I think I saw something that he was bringing in like 4 or 5 coaches. Um, okay, he's being joined by assistant Scarlett Fernandez, Ciciado, Ferro, and then a goalkeeper coach, and then a sports scientist. That's the mirror. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I still think the club could have kept Ruud in one of those, like I said, one of those one attacking roles where he could have just been focusing solely on the young talent that we have. Maybe even like a under 21 team coach, yeah, right? Like that'd be nice to see something like that Rafa Marquez did at Barcelona. The Mexican go, right? It would be nice to see Ruud do something similar to that, where he can just kind of be still part of the club, right? But like I said, with this good stint, with this good like run of form that he got Manchester United in after they were doing so poorly, a lot of teams are looking at him to take over their team, right? Teams that are in poor form, like Everton, like I'm not sure if he would take these positions since he was at Manchester United and then be previously being at PSV, right? Those are bigger clubs than Everton and Ipswich Town, but I mean they're in the Premier League, right? And his goal would be to keep them in the Premier League, which would be interesting to see. Even Palace, I didn't know Palace were doing this bad. Palace have a good team. It'd be super nice to see Ruud take over Palace because they, like I said, they have a solid team. Obviously they lost what's the name? Olise? Yeah, Olise to Bayern. They lost him, which was a huge attacking threat for Palace, but they still have good players, right? They have and they're attacking. They have Matata and Ketia, who just came from Arsenal. Eze, right? They have good talent. Lerma was doing good. I don't know what happened to him. 0 goals, 0 assists. He was doing really good. Oh, he's injured. He was doing really good at the end of last season, and so yeah, it'd be interesting to see Ruud take over like one of the teams that are kind of struggling in the Premier League. See what he can do there, right? Because obviously we saw what he can do with a team that's really like that's the talent is there, right? It just takes the right coach to kind of um, get them into that top tier caliber, right? The talent's there. It just takes some time, obviously, but we'll see what happens with Amorim coming in. But yeah, like I said, Rude, thank you for everything. Thank you for putting us back into good form. And then I'd like to see where he goes. As a manager, obviously once when players leave Manchester United, it's kind of you always see like once a red, always a red, right? You kind of always the fans kind of always follow that player. Like I've still been following Palistri, who's in the Greece league. I've still been following him. He was one of my favorite players. I wish he would have stayed at Manchester United, but I will be following Rude. I'll give you guys updates on Rude. Just kind of like this whole transfer saga, right? Where he goes, what happens next. I'll give you guys updates. So leave a like if you like this video. Let me know in the comments what you think of Rude, where he should be going next, and we'll go and like I said, I'll give you guys some updates on what happens with him. Appreciate you guys. See ya.